Hello, welcome to the Holy Cannoli Cooking Show. My name is Ron. I'm not a professional chef, but I love to cook, and I want to show you today how we make something really simple and easy. This is something that everyone, especially with the holidays, is as American as apple pie. We're going to make apple pie today, homemade apple pie, and I want to show you kind of how simple it really is. So we're going to get started on making the crust. A lot of people are maybe afraid to make crust on their own. You can buy store-bought crusts, but I like to make my own. It's pretty simple. What I started off with 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put just about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in that. We're going to just mix that all in. So we got all-purpose flour, salt, and then what we're going to do is we're going to I have 1 cup of vegetable shortening. And I like the butter flavored. It just kind of brings out a little more of the flavor. You can use regular butter if you like as well. It's completely up to you. I've done it both ways. For some reason I have a better consistency when I use the vegetable shortening. So we're going to put this in here. Get that all in there. All right. 1 cup of shortening. Now what we want to do is we're going to cut this into the flour. This is called cutting into the flour. We're going to cut this in, and we're going to get this all incorporated together. They have little tools that do this. Works pretty good too. I find a fork to be just as good. You just keep mixing it around. What you want to get it to where it's like kind of like a breadcrumb. You want it to get it to where it's the consistency of coarse breadcrumbs. That's the consistency you're looking for when you're making a crust. Now we're cutting in the vegetable shortening. Get it all in there. You can see it all starting to, it's actually turning the flour yellow. And like I said, you can use regular butter for this or vegetable shortening. Some people like to sweeten their crust a little bit. You can do that as well. You can put a little sugar in there if you like. It won't hurt my feelings. I like to use a simpler crust just because once we bake the apples and once we get that all incorporated, I don't want anything taken away from the apples. I want something adding to the flavor of the apples. All right, we got all that cut in there now. See how it was pretty simple? Now what I'm going to do, I have some cold water. It's very important to use cold water when you do this. I've just got some regular water, and what you want to do is you want to add cold water, ice cold water. I got some ice cubes in there. And you want to add the water just enough to basically have the dough come together. And once again, you can do this in a food processor if you like. The key here is whatever you do, do not overmix. So once it all starts coming together, once you see all the flour basically starting to form into a ball, it's you kind of got to eyeball it. It's probably right about 1/2 cup of water. Once you see it coming together, it's pretty much you got to eyeball it at this point, but you don't want to overmix this because there's nothing worse than a tough dough crust on a pie. You might as well just go ahead and go get store-bought crust if you're going to do that. But so far, this is all I've done. I just added water, a little salt, flour, and shortening, and it's all coming together. See how it's all coming together now? All the loose flour is going away. Okay, just a touch more water in there. Yeah, it's all coming together nicely. And what you want to do is if you do this in a food processor, it kind of puts it in a ball for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to form this with my hands, and look how easy that comes together. It's coming together so nicely. And we're going to form this into a ball. And notice I'm not kneading it. You don't want to knead this. We're not making bread. You're making a pastry crust, and it's very important that you don't overmix this. You kind of see how it crumbled like that? You kind of want it to crumble actually like that. And what I do is I take a piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap, and I just put this inside of it. And all I'm doing, I'm not kneading it. I'm just rolling it around to pick up all that loose stuff. And then what I'm going to do there is I'm going to take that, I wrap it in plastic wrap, and wrap it up tight. I put it in the refrigerator and let it go for about 2 hours probably. The longer it's in the refrigerator, the better it is. I'm going to set this one aside right here. I have one already. I'm going to wash my hands. I have one already in the ice box. It's been chilling. There's something about pie dough just getting cold. It just First of all, the dough, you want all the flour to kind of, the gluten to kind of come together. I did this one a couple hours ago. It's nice and cold. This is very simple. You see how it all the different colors of the shortening in there. I'm going to take a little bit of flour right here. Put it down on my surface. I want to flour my rolling pin. Oh yeah, there we go. This is very simple. Now, what I'm going to do also, because we're going to make a top and a bottom for this, so I'm going to take a piece of this and save it for the top. All right, we're just going to put this and set it aside over here. I'm going to put some flour on it. We're going to put this, we're going to wrap that back up and save that for later, for the top. Right now, we're just going to do the base, the bottom of our pan for our apple pie. All right, so we're going to get that nice, get a rolling pin, and I have a rectangular pan. It's okay if you make a little dust. No one's going to get mad. The dust police aren't going to come. Have fun once again with your cooking. I love to bake with my kids. Look how easy this comes out. It just starts to form real nice. And once again, I did not knead this. You don't want to knead your dough. It comes really tough. I've learned that the hard way. But that's the joy of cooking, is you trial and error. You try what works, what doesn't work. Once again, I'm getting this all together here. Let me get a little more flour. See how nice that is? A little more flour down there. And we're just going to get this into the form. And see how I'm not, when you're rolling your rolling pin, never roll over your edges. It just makes it too thin. So always stop. See how, notice I'm not stopping before the edge on each direction. All right, that's about right. Now what I'm going to do, this is a trick I learned. You just roll it up just like I did a second ago. Like this. Just roll it onto your pan. It's coming right up. I'm not doing anything. This isn't magic. This is real simple. You roll it into here. You put it right on your pan. You don't need to grease your pan. This is a 8 by 12. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful. 8 by 12 glass pan. You want it to kind of, you don't want to push it into, you just want it to kind of fall and fold into itself here. And there you go. There's the base, the bottom layer of your, we're going to put our apple pie right in here.